Game on.
Hey there, game gurus. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about a console that doesn't get a lot of love, or at least an accessory for that console, and that's the Nintendo Virtual Boy. Now, this really did not do well in the marketplace. It lasted about a year, and it's a shame. It was kind of marketed as a VR headset, and it is not a VR headset. It's more of a precursor to the 3DS. It's a 3D gaming console, 32-bit. You know, it really wasn't bad. It was really the marketing was pretty bad on it. I know it's only one color, red, but again, there is a charm to it, and these are getting quite expensive now. If you can find them working on eBay, they're going to cost you a pretty penny. A lot of times when they're not working, it's the displays. The glue dries out on the cable to the LEDs. It is very fixable. But in any case, we're not talking specifically about this, but an accessory for it. Now, there's a thing called, ROM cartridges, flash cartridges, and this is a Flashboy Plus. Now, the Flashboy Plus was been around for a long time. It is just what it says. You can flash on a single game onto this cartridge and put it in your Virtual Boy, and it doesn't know it wasn't the original game. It's not an SD card. You can't put multiple games on here. It's one game under 2 megabytes only. So some games like Hyper Fighting won't work because it's over 2 megabytes. But for games that are under 2 megabytes, there's a program that'll pad it. It's got to be exactly 2 megabytes that goes on here. But it's an inexpensive, relatively speaking, about $95 for the cartridge. When it was made by the original developer. Now, like I said, it's not made by him anymore. Now it's being, I guess, remade by Vintex64. He was on my channel, Kicking Old School with Steven, quite a while ago. And this has kind of been a long time coming. It's had a lot of other things going on. But he's kind of picked up the torch. So he's remaking this cartridge. And not only that, on Vintex64's website, he not only sells the new Flashboy Plus, brand new, made by him in a not a 3D printed, but an actual injected molded case. But he makes other recreated games as well, like Jack Brothers or SNES games. And the sad part is I have a funny feeling a lot of those games which he does make is ending up on eBay. It's like brand new, never opened, which you can get instead of paying hundreds of dollars. Go right to Vintex64's website and you can get the game direct from him. But again, this is what we're going to talk about today. Just Chronic showing how easy it is to load games onto it and to play them. Again, it's no frills. It doesn't have multiple games on here. There's no SD card slot, but it does have save game states. So if the games do have a save state, there is a battery in here that'll save the games to it as well. For enough babbling, let's get a look at the recreated, I guess, Flashboy Plus from Vintex64. Let's get started.
Okay, so let's take a look at this Flashboy Plus. Now again, this is a flash card for the Virtual Boy. They can accept any game ROM up to 2 megabytes in size and only put one game on at a time. Now, this is more of a cost-effective solution for loading Game Boy games on here. Newer games like Hyper Fighting, which are too large, they won't fit on this. But a lot of the games will, and it's a pretty good product. I've been using it for quite some time myself. So let's take a look at where you can actually get the Flashboy Plus, and we'll take a look at how to load a couple of games onto an actual Virtual Boy. And I want to give a huge shout out to Vintex64. I actually already owned the Flashboy Plus, but I got another one to show in this review, and the review was long overdue. I couldn't find the controllers to my Virtual Boy for like forever. Kind of one of those things when you have a lot of items, you put them away, you think you're going to know where they are, and then you forget where you put them. In any case, let's go take a look over at the website. So Vintex64 has a lot of different items on their website, from the Nintendo 64, SNES, Virtual Boy, and so on, including repo cartridges, which is kind of cool. But if you go on to the Vintex64 website, link will be down below. You see they have a whole bunch of stuff here for the Virtual Boy, SNES. It's a great website to take a look at if you're looking for a repo cartridge. Best place to go. Now, people beware that I think a lot of these repo games are appearing on eBay, especially the Virtual Boy, some of the more hard-to-get games. Just come here. You'll save a lot of money and get it right from the person who is actually making them. But you can see we do have the Flashboy Plus over here. And again, it's an inexpensive way to load some game ROMs onto your machine. So the way it does work. Let me switch over to another camera for a second here. Okay, you can see right here, this is what I did receive from Vintex64. Again, these are different items. but just kind of showing you what I did receive. So we can see up at the top of the screen right here, it's a bunch of different decals he makes, high quality decals. This right here is the actual cartridge itself. These are additional cases that you can get, a black case and a clear case. These are injected molded, which is kind of cool. And more of these little decals. If you lost your cover for the cartridge, he sells that. And this is the cable that you would use to connect your Flashboy Plus right here with this USB connector on here. And the cartridge, again, is injected molded. It's not 3D printed. It's actually an injected molded cartridge that he spent the expense to get that done. So, again, there's no SD card in here. It has to be loaded over the micro SD card one game at a time. So there is an application you need to use to load the games onto the Virtual Boy Flashboy Plus. It's not too hard to do, but the game ROMs themselves also have to be padded. And what that basically means is this additional code that's been put in there to use up the whole space that the Flashboy Plus needs for it to work in the machine. So we're going to try a game on here. We'll do some gameplay on it, and maybe another game, do some gameplay on it. But again, this is a really nice quality item and an inexpensive way to get into, having multiple ways to load games onto your Virtual Boy. Okay, so let's take a look again on the Vintex64 website. We see they have a bunch of different items on here, but we're looking more at the Virtual Boy categories. And you can see right here, we have the Flashboy. I'm going to click on that. And you can see right here all the different items here that are available for the Flashboy on the Virtual Boy. We have the cartridge itself. You can get different colors. A very high quality USB cable you would need. Different decals you'd want to use. You can print your own, of course, but he has a lot of them right over here. Different cartridges if you have a shell that you need for yours, including even 3D printed ones. But he has the actual injected molded versions right here of the shells. But here's what we're looking at right now. Very simple Virtual Boy Flash cartridge. Again, it only could take ROMs up to 2 megabytes in size. So like Hyper Fighting, which is a fantastic Street Fighter port to the Virtual Boy, wouldn't work on this. But the majority of the library will work, including some ones created from homebrew. But some will not if they take more than 2 megabytes. But you can see right here all the different ways that the cartridge can look with different decals that are on here. So again, you can kind of see what they're going to look like before you get them. And of course, you can make a selection of what you want over here. And again, the 2 things you're going to need on the software side, obviously you're going to need the Flashboy Zip, which is the actual program that you would use with a PC to push the ROM onto the flash cartridge, and a thing called pad_VB. And that's a program that'll take a ROM that's smaller than 2 megabytes and just pad it to be 2 megabytes. That's what the flash cartridge needs for able to read the ROMs. So any ROM you have, you drop it onto this little pad.vb. It pads the ROM to the right size, and then, you can load it. So again, everything here is pretty much self-explanatory. It's a little bit of a reading. We're going to download these 2 things here because we're going to need them. So I'm going to make sure I save it into my downloads directory. We'll save this one, and we're going to save this one as well. And I'm going to open up my ROM folder over here, and let's get this over here. I have some Nintendo Virtual Boy ROMs, the pad, and the Flashboy. So we need to all extract these to a folder real quick here. And I always take the original and dump it into that folder just because it's how I do my things. But we're going to open all these up like so. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is run this pad.exe, and I'll open up this folder with the ROMs, open up to a new folder, like so. There we go, so we have all our ROMs, and go into the VPad, and if you just click on it, it doesn't have like a GUI, but you can see right here, you can just drag and drop the ROM files onto the application while holding down the control key, and hopefully that'll do everything we need it to do. Now, the ROMs can't be zipped. They cannot be zipped. So I'm going to take like Space Invaders right here. That's the one I want to try. Where is my Space Invaders? Right in front of my face. So you can see it has the right extension of VB, which has to be a Virtual Boy. I'm just going to take this one out. I'm going to drop it into the pad folder just because I know it's one I want to do. Now, if I open up the pad folder, we can see we have the Space Invader game right here on the .vb and the executable. So I'm just going to take it, hold down the control key, and drop it onto the executable. And you can see right here we have automatic move. I'm just going to do automatic. Just do your thing. Boom. Enter padding size. Default is 21. So we'll do 21. Output file name will be Space Invaders right here. Yes. Let's go ahead. Do it. And here it is. Here is our one that it has the underscore pad. So this is the one we're going to copy over to the cartridge. So I'm going to take this, just doing it for this video, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to take it out of here. And this is the actual executable we need to run. I'm just going to copy it here. Again, just for the purposes of this video. You can do it any way you want. This is how we're going to do it. Now I'm going to switch over real quick and see if I can bring my other screen on here. Boom. There we go. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. We don't need it to be that big. Oops, not that window. Not that window. I want to do this window. This one. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. Move it over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and connect it over USB. So you can see we have a USB connector right here. We have our cable, and this is a really high quality cable. I'm just going to take this and undo the wire. I'm going to plug this little bad boy into the Flashboy Plus. Of course, put it in the right way. There we go. Easy peasy. Then this will go into our actual computer, which I'm going to first plug in over here. Just give it a second for the computer to recognize that it's been, connected to the machine. And Windows is saying, right there. Okay, now we're ready to actually put a game on the Flashboy Plus. Like, it's not too hard to do. I have a folder here on the desktop just called Flashboy. I put everything I needed in this particular folder. So I have the Flashboy executable. That's the program that'll actually flash the game onto the Flashboy Plus. We have the pad VB, which will take all the games that are below 2 megabyte in size and pad them to be 2 megabytes in size, which it needs. And I have some Virtual Boy ROMs. Now inside here, they are zipped. You have to make sure it is not zipped. It needs it actually in the VB extension. Now I'm going to find 2 games. Jack Brothers is one of the games that's one of the kind of hard to come around or come by, I suppose. So I'm going to take it. You can see here it is USA.VB. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to put it into the Flashboy directory itself. And I'm also going to take Space Invaders, which is another one that's a little hard to come by. Got to find it on my list here. A little blind. There we go. Do the same thing. It's also in the VB extension. I'm going to drop that also into the Flashboy folder. So those are the only 2 I'm going to take a look at right now. Now I'm going to go up a folder and go up a folder. You can see here they are. I'm going to drop them both into the pad.vb folder. So it's very easy to do. Now you could take one game or do multiples. I'm going to do both at the same time because why not? Now you can see right here, the Space Invaders collection one is 512K. That needs to be bumped up to 2 megabyte. The Jack Brothers VB is 1 megabyte, and that's also got to go to 2 megabyte. So I'm going to click on each one. I'm going to hold down the control key on my keyboard so I can select both of them. Again, you could do 1, you could do 10, 20. It doesn't matter. We're just going to take them and we're going to drop them onto the padvb.exe. When you do that, you can see right here, it's automatically changed them. We have a pad, so it's Space Invaders, Collection Japan, and then underscore pad. You see it went from 512 to 2 megabytes. Same with Jack Brothers. The original is 1 megabyte. That's also now 2 megabytes. So I'm going to take these ones with the pad extension, and I'm going to move them again into the main folder and drop them into the Flashboy folder. Now again, even though I may have 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 of these, only one can be installed on the Flashboy Plus at one time. But you can see right now I have it over here. My cable is going into the PC. And again, it should be recognized just fine. They do recommend a USB 3.0 port for transfer speeds, but these are so tiny. A 2.0 port really would not be a problem. So all I'm going to do here, I'm going to double click on the Flashboy EXE, and that's going to execute the Flashboy program. Now it's a small, simple application. You can't resize it, but you can see I'm in the Flashboy directory, and that's why I put my ROMs in here, so I can select them easy. Now to start off, I'm going to go with the Space Invaders one. So you see, you can't flash it right now, it's ghosted. But once you select one, it'll flash. Now you can select two, but it won't let you because you can only do one at a time. So I'm just going to hit the flash button, and let's see how quickly this goes to flash the game. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. It's erasing. Please wait. So any existing game that's on there, it's going to wipe it off the flash on the machine. And now it's flashing the ROM right now. And it's flashing a full 2 megabytes. Even though the game is 512, it does that, and then it just puts a bunch of, like, I guess, zeros or ones or something to pad so a complete 2 megabytes is stored on the cartridge. And it goes, this is again on the USB 3.0 port, and it goes fairly quick. Now the one plus is anytime you put in this game cartridge, it'll always load that game instantly. There's no loading time. The only loading time is right now. Once it's flashed, Space Invaders right now will stay on here forever. Just put the cartridge in, it'll always boot up to Space Invaders. That's it. So once that's done, now Windows itself won't recognize it. You don't need to shut down the card or anything like that. You can just take it, basically just do this, and the cartridge is ready to go. So let me go get my Virtual Boy, plug this in, and see if in fact Space Invaders is on this. Be right back. Okay, now that we saw the Space Invaders loaded, we need to do unclick and unselect it here. The next game we'll try is Jack Brothers. So we'll select that here, hit flash. We have to wait for it to erase and re-image the cartridge. Move this over just a little bit so you can see. Take this over here. You can see all the files need to be padded the same size. 2,048, so basically 2 megabyte. All these files need to be 2 megabyte for it to properly flash onto the cartridge. Okay, once that's done, we simply disconnect it. We're going to try it inside the Virtual Boy. Okay, let's try one more game. So I'm going to reconnect the Flashboy Plus to my USB. You can see it's recognized as connected. Next game we're going to try again with the unselect the previous ROM, like so. And let's try Red Alarm. It's a fun game. It's a wireframe game, but it's a game I do enjoy. Click on that. Hit flash. Again, it starts erasing. Again, all these have to be set to the 2 megabyte in size. And every time you use the padding program, it'll change the extension to underscore pads. You know that these are the ones you want to use. Again, the flashing time is pretty much the same for all of them, because it's got to do 2 megabytes each time. But the loading time is not too bad. And again, as far as the Virtual Boy will be concerned, it's an original cartridge. It has no idea that this cartridge is a flash cartridge. As far as it's considered, the single ROM loaded is the original single ROM that has been loaded on the actual cartridge itself. Again, for about $95, it's a real good value. You can get a couple of them. Okay, when it's done, once again, we're going to try this out. Just disconnect the cable. We're going to plug it into our Virtual Boy.
Present.
Okay, and that's it. Again, no frills. It's not hard to put the games on here. If the games are not 2 megabytes in size, it's a pad program. You dump the game onto the pad program, makes it 2 megabytes. You do this to all your games, and then when you want them, you put them on one by one, you flash it. It takes only a minute or two to flash on here, but then they'll stay in here. So if you put a game on here like, Space Invaders, it'll stay Space Invaders on here until you change it. Just plug it in, and away you go. But that's it for today's episode. If you did like the episode, please like, share, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Helps me out with YouTube's algorithms. It takes only a second of you, but it really helps me out. If you're not currently a subscriber, please take a moment to consider subscribing. Again, that also helps out the channel. I'll put links down below to Vintex64's website. He has not only this, but a lot of good games on here and other items you can get relatively inexpensively. If you're looking for an actual cartridge, some of these games like Jack Brothers, I could think of off the top of my head right now on the Virtual Boy. But that's it. This is all fun and games, and it is fun and it's entertaining. But remember, it is just games. Not the same as your family and friends. Make sure you always tell your family and friends that you love them, because tomorrow is never promised. But in between those times, get your Virtual Boy out, get your Flashboy Plus, and game on.
Are you looking for that arcade experience at home? If you don't have the space for a full-size arcade in your house or endless funds, then you need the GRS Build-A-Cade. It's arcade quality without the arcade price, from someone you can trust. The GRS Build-A-Cade is very simple, easy to assemble, 1/6 scale arcade computer you can build yourself. You can buy interchangeable controllers for every gaming option you need to play the games the way they're meant to be played. You can also design your own artwork or purchase artwork separately to make your GRS Build-A-Cade look like the machine of your dreams. The GRS Buildicade is also the only home system STEM certified. Come see what all the YouTube creators are raving about. GRS Buildicade. Game on. Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.